On this week's show, we followed the home matches of the bowling team, the boys' varsity basketball game against Argyle, and the girls' varsity basketball games versus Granville and Hoosick Falls. All that and more on This Week in SCC Sports.
I'm gonna fight 'em all. A seven-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it all.
Welcome to This Week in SCC Sports. I'm your host, the voice of the Saints, Brandon Caron, SCC Class of 2020. This week we start with bowling. On Monday, the team took on Hoosick Falls at the Saratoga Strike Zone. The Saints had a great match overall, picking up the win, and were led by Timmy Barrett, who had a 222 average and a 263 high, and Michaela Barble, who had a 216 average and a 225 high. On Tuesday, the girls' varsity basketball team hosted Granville at the Broadway Gym. In a game that was tied after 3 quarters, Granville was able to squeak out the victory 38-37. The Saints were led by Riley Dempsey with 13 points, and Ani Crocker added 10. Also on Tuesday, the boys' varsity basketball team traveled to Argyle and suffered defeat 71-61. The Saints had a 2-point lead going into halftime, but Argyle outscored the Saints 22-11 in the third quarter, and then added 22 more in the fourth quarter. Tyler Herndon led the Saints with 27 points, including 5 3-pointers, and Sean Angler chipped in 13 points in the loss. On Wednesday, the bowling team had a match at the Saratoga Strike Zone against Hoosick Valley. The Saints set a new school record in total pins with 3,587. The Saints were led by L.J. LaFiora with a 219 average and a 268 high, Timmy Barrett with a 211 average and a 258 high, and Michaela Barble with a 216 average and a 223 high. On Friday, the JV girls basketball team had a game against Hoosick Falls at the Broadway Gym. In a rough game for the Lady Saints, they suffered defeat 38-23. Also on Friday, the girls varsity basketball team hosted Hoosick Falls. The Lady Saints were outscored 25-11 in the second and third quarters and lost 53-34. Ani Crocker led the Saints with 11 points. After the break, our talk with the bowling team, but first, here's what's on tap for this week. Welcome back to This Week in SCC Sports. This week's guests are 3 of the bowlers. We're just going to ask them how they think the season's been going so far. LJ?
We've started off strong, but all that matters is how we finish. I think we all have our eyes on the prize, and we just got to see where it goes.
Timmy?
I feel like we're doing great. Just doing great.
Michaela?
I feel like we'll do good. The team's really good, and we haven't lost yet, so I think it's going to go good.
Thank you. And we will see you next week on YouTube, so stay tuned.